नमो तस्स भगवतो अर्हतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स। नमो तस्स भगवतो अर्हतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स। नमो तस्स भगवतो अर्हतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स. So today I am going to read Madhya 10, Satipatthana Sutta. So I have already shared the screen. You can refer now. So in this sutta, this Satipatthana Sutta and Mahasatipatthana Sutta, Digha Nikaya 22. These two suttas has similar kind of content. Only Dhammanupassana or contemplation of Dhamma is expanded in Mahasatipatthana Sutta. So here, the meaning of Satipatthana is Sati means mindfulness. In Marathi or Hindi, we call it smruti or memory or to remember. And Patthana is nothing but the foundation or the basis or where that particular mindfulness is established. So that is Satipatthana. So I'll start reading the sutta now. I'll read in Pali and we'll try to explain this sutta in English. Madhya Nikaya 10, Satipatthana Sutta. Evam mes viharati, kamasa dhamma nama, purunang nigamo. It means, so I have heard, at one time the Buddha was staying in the land of Kurus, near the Kuru town, named Kammasa Dhamma. Tatra kho bhagava bhikkhu amantesi. There, the Buddha addressed the mendicants or the students. Venerable Sir, they replied. The Buddha said this. Buddha said this that Ekayano ayam bhikkhave maggu sattanang visuddhiya sokapari devanang samati samati kamaya dukkha domanassa athangamaya nyayassa adhigamaya Nibbānassa sacchi kiriyaya yadidang chattaro satipatthana. So students, the four kinds of mindfulness meditation are the path to convergence. They are in order to purify sentiment beings, to get past sorrow and crying, to make an end of the pain and sadness, to discover the system and to realize extinguishment. Katame chattaro means what for? Idha bhikkhave bhikkhu kaye kayanupassi viharati atapi sampajano satima vineya loke abhichhado manassang. So it's when a student meditates by observing an aspect of the body. We can say observing or contemplating an aspect of the body, keen, aware, and mindful, rid of covetousness and displeasure for the world. Vedanasu vedananu passi viharati atapi sampajano satima vineya loke abhichhado manassang. So the students meditate observing an aspect of feeling, Vedana. Keen, aware and mindful means Atapi Sampajano Satima. Read of craving and aversion for the word. Chitte Chittanupassi Viharati Atapi Sampajano Satima. Vineya Loke Abhichhado Manassang. They meditate observing an aspect of the mind, keen, aware, and mindful, rid of covetousness and displeasure for the world. Dhammesu dhammanupassi viharati, atapi sampajano satima, vineya loke abhichhado manassam. In the same way, they meditate observing an aspect of the principles or Dhamma or the Buddha's teaching, keen, aware, and mindful, rid of covetousness and displeasure for the world. So, this is the purpose of this Satipatthana Sutta. Now, since the Sutta is a bit longer, we'll try to understand only Kayanupassana today. Kayanupassana means observing the body. I'll mute. Okay. Some distractions are there. Once again, I'm going to share this Sutta central link with all. Yes. So first is observing the body, Kayanupassana. Kayanupassana, Anapanapab. Kathancha bhikkhave bhikkhu kaye kayanupassi viharati. Means, and how does a mendicant or a student meditate observing an aspect of the body? Idha bhikkhave bhikkhu arannagato va rukkhamulagato va sunnagaragato va nisiddhati pallakang abhujitva ujungkayang panidhaya parimukhang sati upatthappetva. Parimukhang sati means the mindfulness is established in front of them. And when a student gone to a forest or to the root of a tree, arannagatova, rukkhamulagatova, or to an empty hut, sits down cross-legged or in any comfortable position, sets their body straight and establishes mindfulness in front of them. So here, if we refer the sutta, it is clearly mentioned that mindfulness is established in front of them. So no reference, like focus is not on any particular part of the body. It's in front of them. So satova assasati, satova passasati. Just mindful. They breathe in. Mindful, they breathe out. Dighang va assassanto, dighang assasami ti pajanat. Dighang va passassanto, dighang passasami ti pajanati. Pajanati means he knows or he understands with wisdom. Pajanati. So breathing in heavily, they know I am breathing in heavily. Breathing out heavily, they know I am breathing out heavily. Rassang va assassanto, rassang assassami ti pajanati. Rassang va passassanto, rassang passassami ti pajanati. And when breathing in lightly, they know I am breathing in lightly. Breathing out lightly, they know I am breathing out lightly. Sabbakaya pati samvedi assassi ti sikkhati. Sabbakaya pati samvedi passassi ti sikkhati. Means they practice like this. I'll breathe in experiencing the whole body. They practice like this. I'll breathe out experiencing the whole body. Pasam bhayam kaya sankharang assassi ti sikkhati. Pasam bhayam kaya sankharang passassi ti sikkhati. Means while meditating, he uses the relaxed state. They practice like this. I'll breathe in, stealing the physical process, means tranquilizing the bodily formations. They practice like this. I'll breathe out, stealing the physical process. When we continually practice 6 hours, this step of pasambhayam or relaxation is there. Seyathapi bhikkhave dakho bhamakaro va bhamakarante vasi va dighang va anchanto dighang anchami ti pajanat. Rassang va achanto rassang achhami ti pajanat. So here an example of carpenter is given. So when a skilled carpenter or carpenter's apprentice, when making a deep cut, they know I am making a deep cut. And when making a shallow cut, they know I am making a shallow cut. Means a skilled carpenter is very much aware about the cut. In the same way, evam ko evamev ko bhikkhave bhikkhu dighang va assassanto dighang assassami ti pajanat. Dighang va passassanto dighang passassami ti pajanat. Rassang va assassanto rassang assassami ti pajanat. Rassang va passassanto rassang passassami ti pajanat. Because he knows everything with wisdom. And so they meditate observing an aspect of the body, internally, externally, and both internally and externally. Iti achattam va kaye kayanupassi viharati. Bahidha va kaye kayanupassi viharati. Ajhatta bahidha va kaye kayanupassi viharati. Ajhatta means internally and bahidha means externally. Then samudaya dhammanupassiva kayasmin viharati. Vaya dhammanupassiva kayasmin viharati. Samudaya vaya dhammanupassiva kayasmin viharati. They meditate observing the body as liable to and as liable to both originate and vanish. Samudaya vaya dhammanupassiva kayasmin viharati. Athikayoti va panasasati pachupathita hoti yavadev jnanamattaya patisati mattaya anissito cha viharati nacha kinchi loke upadiyati. It means they meditate observing the body liable to originate, liable to vanish, and as liable to both originate and vanish. Or mindfulness is established so that the body exists to the extent necessary for knowledge and mindfulness. They meditate independent, not grasping at anything in the world, totally detached, not grasping at anything in the world. Evam pikho bhikkhave bhikkhu kaye kayanupassi viharat. So that's how a student meditates by observing an aspect of the body. So this was Anapan Pab. So next is, it is regarding to the postures. We call, in Pali it is called as Iriyapath Pab. So it is Kayanupassana Iriyapath Pab. पुनच परं भिक्खवे भिक्खु गच्छन्तो वा गच्छामि पजानाति. Gachami means walking. Like Thito va thitom hi ti pajanati. Nisinno va nisinno mi ti pajanati. Sayano va sayano hi ti pajanati. King. He knows I am walking. When standing, they know I am standing. When sitting, they know I am sitting. And when lying down, they know I am lying down. Whatever postures body is in, they know it. Means they are aware about everything, about every posture. Yatha yatha vapanasakayo panihito hoti tatha tatha nang pajanati. They know all these postures with the wisdom. Iti ajjattang va kaye kayanupassi viharati. Bahidha va kaye kayanupassi viharati. Ajjatta bahidha va kaye kayanupassi viharati. And so they meditate observing an aspect of the body. Ajjatta means internally. Bahidha means externally, and both internally and externally. Samudaya dhammanupassiva kayasming viharati. Vaya dhammanupassiva kayasming viharati. Samudaya vaya dhammanupassiva kayasming viharati. So the students meditate, observing the body as liable to originate, liable to vanish, and as liable to both originate and vanish. Athikayoti va panassasati pachupathita hoti yavadev jnanamattaya patisati mattaya anissito cha viharati na chakinchi loke upadiyati. Or mindfulness is established that the body exists to the extent necessary for knowledge and mindfulness. They meditate independent, not grasping at anything in the world. Evam pikho bhikkhave bhikkhu kaye kayanupassi viharati. That too is how a student meditates by observing an aspect of the body. So in this way, this was Iriya Pathapabba. So now, next is also a part of Kayanupassana, that is situational awareness. So this is really helpful in our daily lives. It is called as Kayanupassana Sampajanapabba. Punacha parang bhikkhave bhikkhu abhikante patikante sampajanakari hoti. Alokite vilokite sampajanakari hoti. Samidchite pasarite sampajanakari hoti. Sanghati patti chivaradharane sampajanakari hoti. Asite pite khaite saite sampajanakari hoti. Uchchara पस्सावक्कम में संपजानकारी होती. गते ठीते निसिन्ने सुत्ते भासिते जागरीते तुन्ही भावे संपजानकारी होती. It means, furthermore, a student acts with situational awareness. When going out and coming back, when looking ahead and aside, when bending and extending the limbs, when wearing the outer robe, bowl, and robes, when eating, drinking, chewing, and tasting, when urinating and defecating, when walking, standing, sitting, sleeping, waking, speaking, and keeping silent. Sampajanakari hoti. I think I should mute us. We have some distractions as well in between. So that's a good part. So this was all about Sampajanapabba, situational awareness. Now, the fourth part of this Kayanupassana is about the repulsives. In Pali, it is called as Kayanupassana Patikula Manasikara-pabba. I request everyone to mute so that we can read it without hindrances. Punachaparang bhikkhave bhikkhu imameva kayang uddhung padatala adho kesamathaka tachapariyantang purang nana pakarassa asuchino pachavekkati. Furthermore, a student examines their body, their own body, up from the soles of the feet and down from the tips of the hairs, wrapped in skin and full of many kinds of filth or impurities. Athi imasmin kai kesa loma nakha danta tacho mansang nharu athi. All these are the name of the impurities which are in the body. Atthimichang, Vakkang, Hrudayang, Yakanang, Kilomakang, Pihakang, Paphasang, Antang, Antagunang, Udariyang, Karisang, Pittang, Semhang, Pubbo, Lohitang, Sedo, Medo, Assu, Vasa, Khelo, Singhanika, Lasika, Muttaniti. Muttan means urine. So we'll try to understand in English. In this body, there is head hair, body hair, nails, teeth, skin, flesh, sinews, bones, bone marrow, kidneys, heart, liver, spleen, lungs, intestines, mesentery, undigested food, feces, bile, phlegm. Phlegm means cough, pus, blood, sweat, fat, tears, grease, saliva, snot, synovial fluid, and urine. So all these are the impurities. Seyathapi bhikkhave ubhato mukha utalo pura nana vihitasya dhannasya. So the example of the grains is given here. Seyathidang, salinang, vihinang, mugganang, masanang, tilanang, tandulanang, tamenang, chakhuma, puriso, muchitva, pachavekhyah, ime sali, ime vihi, ime muga, ime masa, ime tila, ime tandula iti. So it's as if there is filled with various kinds of grains, such as fine rice, wheat, mung beans, peas, sesame, and ordinary rice. And someone with clear eyes were to open it and examine the contents. These grains are fine rice, these are wheat, these are mung beans, these are peas, these are sesame, and these are ordinary rice. So one with a good eyes is able to distinguish between all these different kind of grains. So in the same way, the a student or a mendicant or a meditator is very much aware about every impurities which is inside the body. Iti ajhattam va kaye kayanupassi viharati. Evam bhikho bhikkave bhikkhu kaye kayanupassi viharati. That too is how a mendicant meditates, by observing an aspect of the body. So it is all about Patikula Manasikara Pabbha. And the next is Kayanupassana Dhatu Manasikara Pabbha. So focusing on the elements. Punacha parang bhikkhave bhikkhu imameva kayang yathatthitang yatha panihitang dhatuso pacchavekkati athi imasmin kaye pathavi dhatu apo dhatu tejo dhatu vayo dhatu iti. So these are the elements. Furthermore, a student examines their own body, whatever its placement or posture, according to the elements. So in this body, there is the earth element, the water element, the fire element, and the air element. Steyathapi bhikkhave dakho goghatako va goghatakante vasi va gaving vadhitva chatu mahapathe bilaso vibhajitva nisinno as. So it's as if a skilled butcher or a butcher's apprentice were to kill a cow and sit down at the crossroads with the meat cut into different portions. And so they meditate, observing an aspect of the body internally and externally, and both internally and externally. So the personality of Buddha was really dynamic. So he used to give different objects to different people on the basis of their like nature or their requirement. And the last part of this Kaya Anupassana is it is regarding the contemplations of the charnel ground. In Pali, we call it Kaya Anupassana Navasivathika Pabbha. Wait a minute, I'll check. I just yes, Sarmaji, I think you have one question, right? Regarding Vedana Anupassana. Sarmaji, are you there? Okay, I'll finish that and then we'll take questions. पुनच परम भिक्खवे भिक्खु सेयत्थापि पस्सेय शरीरं शिवथिकाय छडितं एकाहमतं वा द्विहमतं वा tihamatang va uddhumatakang vinilakang vipujya kajjatang. So suppose a student were to see a corpse discarded in a charnel ground, and it had been dead for 1, 2, or 3 days, bloated, livid, and festering. They would compare it with their own body. So imameva kayang upassaharati. So the students compare this with their own body. Ayam pikho kayo, evam dhammo, evam bhavi, evam aniti. So this body is also of the same nature, that same kind, and cannot go beyond that. And so the students meditate, observing an aspect of the body internally and externally, and both internally and externally. Iti ajhattang va kaye kayanupassi viharati. Evam pikho bhikkhave bhikkhu kaye kayanupassi viharati. पुनश्च परं भिक्खवे भिक्खु सेय्यथापि paseya sarirang sivathika. So furthermore, suppose they were to see a corpse discarded in a charnel ground, being devoured by crows, vultures, herons, dogs, tigers, leopards, jackals, and many kinds of little creatures. So they would compare it with their own body. This body is also of the same nature, that same kind, and cannot go beyond that. So they have this clear understanding about this own body. And so they meditate observing an aspect of the body internally and externally. Punacha parang bhikkhave bhikkhu seyathapi paseya sarirang sivathikaya chaditang. So suppose they were to see a corpse discarded in charnel ground, a skeleton with flesh and blood, held together by sinews, a skeleton without flesh but smeared with blood, and held together by sinews, a skeleton rid of flesh and blood, held together by sinews. Bones rid of sinews, scattered in every direction. Here a hand bone, here a foot bone, here a shin bone, there a thigh bone, there a hip bone, there a rib bone, here a backbone, there an arm bone, here a neck bone, there a jawbone, here a tooth, and there the skull. So ayam pikho kayo evam dhammo evam bhavi evam aniti to iti iti acchattang va kaye kayanupassi viharati. Evam pikho bhikkhave bhikkhu kaye kayanupassi viharati. So white bones, the color of the shells, bones rotted and scrambled to the powder. They would compare it with their own body. This body is also of the same nature, that same kind, and cannot go beyond that. And so they meditate, observing an aspect of the body, internally, externally, and both internally and externally. Iti ajhattang va kaye kayanupassi viharati. Bahidha va kaye kayanupassi viharati. Ajhatta bahidha va kaye kayanupassi viharati. Means when we 6 hours, we use the tool of 6 hours. So recognition is also there. whatever tension and tightness due to that particular feeling, we release that. Release there only. Relax means we use the step of pasambhayam, that is relaxation. So they meditate observing the body as liable to originate, as liable to vanish, and as liable to both originate and vanish. Athikayoti va panassasati pachupathita hoti yavadev jnanamattaya patisati mattaya anissito cha viharati nachak kinchi loke upadhyati. Or the mindfulness is established that the body exists to the extent necessary for knowledge and mindfulness. And students meditate independent, not grasping at anything in the world. That too is how a student meditates, by observing an aspect of the body. So in this way, these 4 to 5 parts of Kayanupassana is over now. Since the sutta is long, we will read only Kayanupassana for today. So now, if you have any question, now we can discuss. Sarmaji is not there? So here the most important part is the pasambhayam step. Pasambhayam kaya sankharam means Buddha asked us to meditate by tranquilizing all the bodily formations. You have to use the relaxed step as much as possible. Sindhu, you want to say something on this sutta, Kayanupassana?
No, Shubham, actually, you have covered all the topics. That's a nice discussion.
All right. So we will share the merits. So I'll share the link so that everyone can recite. Yes. May suffering once be suffering free, and the fear stuck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Yes, thank you so much, everyone, for coming.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Shubham.
And wishing all happiness.
Thank you, Shubham.
Thank you. Yes.